Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Skald against the Black Priory. As today, with the irrational rationed with and the cures secured, we see what comes next. I mean, obviously we still have some loose ends to tie, but might as well check in with Marcus while we're here. See what he's got for us. The smell of cooking food fills the camp and mixes with the sounds of cheers and blessings coming from the ragged lot of starving refugees. You enter the makeshift office of Marcus and tell him the good news, and find him agitatedly pacing back and forth. "Farron, I heard the news. That is amazing. You've given us a fighting chance." And in the Emperor's time, it seems, Iben here has returned from scouting the city, and he comes bearing curious news. "Iben, tell Farron what you just told me." The recent excitement has evidently taken more than expected out of the plump man, and Marcus slumps heavily into his chair. He gestures absent-mindedly to an unlit corner of the room as he catches his breath. For the first time, you notice the green-clad man lingering there. He steps into the light as he takes a long drag from his pipe. "Get some food, Marcus. You're no good to any of us if you starve yourself to death." And there's another companion. We saw that face during the party tutorial, which I think just leaves our caster, though I have no idea when we'll actually meet her. Hence, Freya filling in. "Soon enough, old friend. Farron, this is Iben. He is a most useful individual and served the governor well before the calamities befell us." Iben's eyes sparkle, and as he puffs a ring of smoke, a smile plays across his face. "It is good to see I'm not the only useful individual to be found in these times." Iben takes another pull on his pipe as he studies you. The man's skin is the texture of well-worn leather, and his dark eyes have the keenness of a predator. More than anything, this man reminds you of some well-made tool. Or perhaps a weapon? "So, you're the fabled Iben. You're the ranger that Marcus has had keeping an eye on Harren, right? So what have you learned?" "That the situation is dire, but not hopeless. By chance or design, the Fisherman's Gate to the southeast has been opened. My party and I were able to make it all the way to the square before we encountered Reavers. I lost men, but we cut their band down before we retreated. If we move fast, we may yet be able to take advantage of the gate." "I don't know, Iben. It sounds like they baited a trap and you walked right into it. You're just one of the ones lucky enough to make it back out alive." "Perhaps. The Reavers are fierce, but they're a poorly organized lot. With a small troop of hungry and fearful guardsmen, I was able to fight my way to the square and slay many of their numbers. If this is a trap, I believe it to be a poorly laid one." "So what, you're suggesting we walk back in there? Hope they haven't compensated for the first-time failings?" "Look, long as the Reavers hold the city in port, they will eventually starve us out. They were able to take it because they had surprise on their side, and now they rule by terror. So long as we sit here, fearful and hungry, they will eventually fall upon us. I say we shit on that. I have a way into Harren. Let us venture forth and attempt to free her from these savages." I mean, I'm not saying no, but I'm also not hearing much in the way of a real plan. "We have men and women here, willing and able to bear arms if called upon. A small band of strong swords could slip in using the Fisherman's Gate, sow chaos among the ranks of the Reavers, and open the main gate from inside. If this was done, I am certain we stand a chance at retaking the city." "And that's where we come in?" "From what we learned, the Reavers in the city have formed splinter groups around 3 chieftains. Red Kala rules the docks. Oleg the Grey is holed up in the old Fisherman's Lodge, and someone they call the Butcher holds his court on the steps of the temple. So what, we waltz in there, kill those three, and then hope for the best? Pretty much. While those three madmen still draw breath, the Reavers are still a danger. We must put an end to them. Either by force of arms or subterfuge. I am certain a way may be found to pit the fools against each other. Iben's eyes glimmer with lust for adventure. Or is it bloodthirst? So what say ye? Shall we make a tale worthy of the Skalds? Hey, said the thing. Roll opening credits. 12 hours in. Well, Iben, I can't say you've necessarily got our confidence, but you do have our attention. We'll give the place a look. If it's as you say, then maybe we can make this work. Then woe to those who stand against us. Iben slaps Marcus on the back so briskly that his hat flies off. As Marcus recovers, he begins nervously poring over papers. I need to begin mustering. They'll also need supplies and arms for the civilians, and we need to prepare to receive more wounded. I best get to it. Marcus dips his quill in ink, then starts scribbling. Okay. Welcome aboard, Marcus. Let's get to it. Now pay close attention. Iben leans in intently. You'll enter Haran by the Fisherman's Gate to the southeast. Once inside, you must seek out each of the 3 Reaver chieftains and put an end to them, one way or another. We must be careful with a frontal assault, but I suspect there is little cohesion and much infighting amongst the Reavers. Perhaps that can be used to our advantage? Yeah, mayhaps. I mean, I've just been killing him thus far, but I suppose I could use a lighter touch where need be. So, any questions? Best ask while you still got the chance. What about survivors? You think anyone else escaped the Reavers? Yes. Survivors may be hiding in barricaded houses and perhaps cellars. What's more, the city has a large sewer system, and if I were trapped inside with Reavers at my heels, I would certainly consider finding shelter there. Okay. Not super telling, but that's something. Any more info on those Raider chieftains? Well, the situation inside the city is still unclear, but what we do know is that the Reavers have formed factions. Though some are doubtlessly still rabid, others may be open to parleying. If this is so, we might be able to use that to our advantage. In other words, we fight when we must. But if we can use cunning instead, I'm certain the dead will favor us. So that's the plan? We go in there, kill these guys, or turn them against each other, then just crack open the main gate, just like that? What if we get in there and it turns out they've sabotaged the opening mechanism? Please tell me you've got some sort of backup plan. Well, there are actually 2 gates in the city. The main one to the north and one to the south, leading to the harbor. Both are heavy portcullises, and the only way to raise them is to find the nearby mechanism that operates them. Okay, so if one doesn't work, then theoretically we've got the other. Fair enough. Alright, Iben. Sounds like a plan. I mean, obviously we've got some other leads to run down first, but you've given us some options. Let's move out. Is what I would say if you didn't immediately have 10 levels in the queue. Oof, boy, yeah. Yep, okay, so we've got some legwork to do real quick. Give me 1 sec to figure out what we're doing here. Be right back. And we're back. Okay, let's run through this. And I've got to say, after taking a look at Iben's various trees, I think we're actually going to go full bow with him. He does generally dabble in a few warrior trees, but generally speaking, while it does give him some staying power in combat, he's not really well suited for toe-to-toe slugfests, especially given that his entire specialized ranger tree is basically built entirely around range combat. That aside, we're already tripping over each other with 4 melee characters. It'll be nice to have a second, pure range character. I will say, there was some temptation to go for Second Wind, but it turns out he actually has access to nature spellcasting, which is itself kind of a watered-down version of the cleric trees. Some low-power heals, buffs, debuffs, stuff like that. I'm not sure we'll take it up too far, but we will at least take it to Tier 1. That'll give us a nice, quick source of emergency healing. Not to mention Serpent's Grace, a nice agility self-buff. Since we're going full range with him, that extra +2 agility will come in handy during tougher fights. So yeah, that's 4 points into the nature tree. Then we'll sink 3 into Arms Mastery, bank those accuracy bonuses for melee and ranged. And we are just going all in on the entire archery tree. That's 18 points, which, aside from a lot of general bow bonuses, also gets us Rapid Shot, an extra attack every few rounds, Fletching, which is extra arrow recovery, and Rapid Reload, a bonus attack every time he lands a crit. Then, just so we're not completely neglecting melee, we'll go ahead and bank an extra rank of blade accuracy, so that's a net +2 with blades. We're completely ignoring the middle tree, bred for war, at least for now. And everything we've got left goes into the ranger tree, starting with a 1-point dip into each box. That's +3 survival, a couple of bow bonuses, and perhaps most notably, Mark Target, which is a permanent dodge debuff on one target per turn. Useful in and of itself, but it actually combines with 2 of his other abilities. Magnificent Takedown, which inspires allies, and Replenishing Takedown, which is a party-wide heal. Might take some work to set up, but I am curious to see how potent that might be. We've got 5 points left, so we can reach one of them. And given that Ranger Master also grants Evasive at rank 3, I think that's the one we're going to go for. And that's it. Not sure how well that's going to work out for us, but I am cautiously optimistic. And then minor lay on hands and Serpent's Grace, of course. So all told, he should make a fairly decent range fighter. I'm just not sure how viable that is long term, especially given that as a hybrid build, his stats are kind of all over the place. Though I will say, he does at least have a respectable survival of 8. Not as high as I'd like, but it does at least put him ahead of poor Drina. She capped at 6 in healing. And then as for the rest of our level ups, not a whole lot to say there. Because we just hit level 10, we now have access to a new tier of feats, which for most of them includes a stat increase. So yeah, that's basically what we're shooting for with most of them. So that's Vicious and +1 Strength for Roland. And then for Freya, we'll have to do a bit more work because her intellect boost is buried a bit deeper. But we'll go ahead and grab that +5 attunement and +1 lore. And then for Farron, he also now has access to an easy strength boost, but in his case, we were already in the midst of going for multi-attack. So I feel like we should really stay the course on that. That may be a slightly higher priority than boosting strength. Which does mean, unfortunately, we do need to burn 2 points grabbing that useless athletics boost. But we do have 1 point left, so let's put that into something slightly more appealing. And you know what? We'll go ahead and grab shield training. That's an extra +1 dodge. Our tank grows ever so slightly tankier. But more importantly, that puts us 1 level out from multi-attack, and 2 out from that strength boost, since that'll obviously be our priority right after. That said, we're almost ready to head out, but now that we have a bow-centric ranger in the party, give me a sec whilst I clear the rest of the arrows out of yonder merchant's inventory, lest our new archer become quite quarrelsome. And once again, we are back with, I believe, 85 arrows in tow. I didn't even bother with the poor arrows this time out. I just focused on the higher grade stuff she had to offer. So between that and fletching, we should be good for a while. Then aside from that, I spent a little time crafting some extra potions. And I outfitted Iben with just, whatever random bits and bobs of gear we happen to have lying around. Obviously, you could still use some proper armor, but, one thing at a time. Hopefully we'll find something out in the field. I'm trying to save our gold for when we inevitably start encountering magic item merchants. The items we really want to keep an eye out for are anything that might boost diplomacy, since that is the stat that ultimately decides your final buying and selling prices, which for mundane goods is no big deal, but, once you start getting into items that are 1,000 plus gold apiece, that is a lot of potential coin. That said, let's go check out that cave. Oh, also, is there any reason for us to go back inside the, this, goat valley here? I don't think there is. I might check that off screen. I'm pretty sure it's empty, but it does feel odd that we never ended up encountering whatever was terrorizing Jacob's kid. For now, though, we stay focused. Or we get waylaid by reavers. I guess that is also a thing that could happen, but you know what? That works out just fine, because that gives us a chance to put Iben through his paces. So what are we looking at here? 5 strong. Did pretty well on initiative. Let's set up in kind of a block formation. We'll hang back, let them waste their turn coming up on us. I think our main goal this time out will be to try that healing move that Iben has. We'll need to whittle someone down, set them up for an arrow kill. Nice. Perfect. Oop. Chunkier than I thought. That's a solid 50 vitality. But nothing to worry about just yet. Target locked. Number 1 hobbled. Three and 4 engaged. Number 1 out. Allies inspired. Number 2 out. Let's burn some health. In theory, if Iben can get off at least a single heal per fight, that'll help offset the spell burn. Recoup our casting costs, so to speak. We just need to whittle someone down without actually killing them. Number 3 locked. Number 4 out. Roland's too strong for his own good. There we go. There we go. That's perfect. And on your mark. Oh, wow. Not enough to top everyone off, but that was actually some pretty solid healing. We saw an 11 in the mix. That's not bad at all. I mean, offensively, he definitely struggles a bit to keep up with a number of our other characters, but I think he works out just fine as like a support utility character. Also, now that we do have a more bow-centric character in the party, it really does kind of reduce the pressing need to bump up Cat's range skills as well. So while our original plan was to start taking her up that range track, let's have a peek at our other options. Extra attack on crit, that's definitely not bad. Not as reliable as multi-attack, but potentially infinitely chainable. Increased movement. Obvious appeal there. Dash. Another movement boost. Hamstring? Eh, not a big deal. Vein Strike, also not a big deal. Though, Crippling Finesse, that is not bad at all. An injury chaser on every backstab. And then just 3 more stacks of backstab. Wow, okay. Yeah, we'll go 2 deep in backstab, just to get us into the general vicinity of Crippling Finesse. And then we'll sink that last point into Stealth? Actually, no. Let's sink that last point into Blade Accuracy. All that extra damage doesn't really matter if we can't land the hit. Okay, on we go. We'll hit the cave, and then from there we'll just start filling out coastline. A huge sea cave, created by eons of the sea's relentless attack on the rock, gapes in the cliffs ahead. If you take great care, the narrow trail allows you to enter it. And enter we shall. That's some actual uplifting music for once. That's a nice change of pace. Gentlemen, how long do we have to stay here? I wonder what happened to the captain. And just like that, we've got a general gist of why we were summoned. Farewell and adieu to ye ladies of Vaul. Eloquent. Oh, hello there. Oh, we've got another custom merc. Obviously not something we need right now, but it is good to know where these guys are. Just on the off chance we ever do find ourselves short a party member. You never know, especially with a game like this one. Potion of Cure Poison. Ooh, I think we actually need that. Fellbell, Sunmouth, and Venom Gland. Nice. Cook Station. Oh my. Ma'am? No! Avert your gaze from thine perversely placed pixel. My goodness. What scandalous scenery have we stumbled upon? It's fine, I'll hit that with the mosaic. Obfuscate the deviant details. Alchemy Station. I have wares to trade. Ooh, do you now? Right then. Fresh swamp monkeys, I see. Ha! Just pulling your leg. I'm Anto, quartermaster of this here fine ship. You looking for something? I might have a few odds and ends to sell off now that we're stuck here. You know what? I might just take you up on that. Though I did have questions. Yeah? Out with it then. Well, first of all, how did you and all these very fine goods end up stuck in a cave? For that long and riveting tale, I'll refer you to our illustrious first mate, Zarah. She should be down by the ship. Noted. I will certainly look her up. Let's get a gander at those goods. Oh, and here we go. Yes, this is our first magic item vendor. Aside from the Kickstarter guy, of course. And right off the bat, that magic mace would make a nice upgrade for Drina. Though sadly none of these, well, I mean, that's actually really close to our current magic broadsword, but with the added benefit of also being able to use all of our axe bonuses. Oh, it would be so much better if it were a proper war axe, though. Then again, a war axe would also be like twice as expensive, so this might make a good short-term stopgap, just so we have an excuse to start building up our axe skills again. Let's hold off for a sec before we commit there, because ideally we have at least one diplomacy item in the offing. Buckler of Athletics, not great. Large Shield of Diplomacy. And there we go. That is exactly what we need. If we lead with that and immediately equip it, it'll give us better prices on everything else. Necklace of Stealth. Necklace of Crafting. Necklace of Survival. Would have been nice if we had multiple diplomacy items, but one is still good. Especially a cheap one like that. So yes, we will immediately purchase that shield. And then get it equipped. Yeah, No net gain or loss on dodge. Just a flat +1 diplomacy. Very nice. But now we also have a spare shield in the mix, so let's see who needs that. There we go. Large shield goes to Drina. And then spare medium goes to... Oh, nice. Freya can actually use shields. I wasn't sure. Though I think we might toss it to Roland first. For those rare occasions he's stuck going toe-to-toe. Especially since his dodge is actually lower than I would have expected. I'll have to double-check the numbers there. Oh, and then we had that potential axe upgrade for Farron. Let's see what bonuses we're currently leaving on the table. Okay, so +2 accuracy. So that right there would immediately equal the +3 accuracy on our magic broadsword. And then +1 damage, plus the occasional 4 from Wild Swing. That's a maybe. We would have +3 accuracy, we would have 5 to 8 damage. Very slight increase in crit. Yep, yeah, we'll take it. Not a huge step up, but it is an incremental improvement. Yes. So 2 points lower on max damage, but higher on minimum damage. So I believe the average per swing still goes up. Plus, now, of course, we've got that sword, which we have no other use for, so that right there, once we sell it, offsets about half the cost of the new axe. Which eventually will get an extra +1 damage. And then also 2 ranks of crit bonus. As well as decapitation. Mass fear on kill. That's not bad at all, though obviously we will still want to keep an eye out for a proper war axe. And then we're sitting on like $1,000 worth of magic swords, so we can perhaps purchase 1 or 2 more items. Non-magic bow upgrade. Relatively affordable. Magic mace for Drina. That would necessitate selling both swords. I'm not sure that's worth it just yet. Might be better to hold on to the big ticket sale items until we find more diplomacy gear. I don't know if there was anything else here that was really a must-have. +1 survival? Bump us up to a +9. Yeah, perfect. We'll take it. I mean, we could also use armor, but I think we're better off just waiting for drops there. We'll stick with the necklace for now, and keep the swords and assorted jewelry in reserve. I have heard vendors reset their inventory when you rest, so if and when we ever end up resting, we might have to swing back by, see what else this guy gets in stock. Let's go find Zarah. Hopefully she's got some work for us. Aha! What have we got here, then? Zarah, I presume? A tall, muscular woman, beautiful but for a scar across the cheek, stands looking over papers whilst apparently counting under her breath. Her flamboyant outfit marks her not only as a southerner, but likely also an officer. Ah, I see the sellswords have come to answer the maiden's plea. She grins, revealing a golden tooth. Her smile, however, does not quite reach her eyes. You must be Zarah. We met your man Dono at the camp over yonder. You have need of us? I am indeed Zarah, first mate of the illustrious Weather Maiden. She gestures grandly to the anchored ship. As she proceeds, a shadow falls over her face. We were on our way to the mainland when we encountered something ancient. We lost many a good man and the ship was gravely damaged. However, by the grace of the blind and our captain's good fortune, we outran the beast and made it to the shallows. It did not pursue us there, and we suspect it will not stray too far from deeper waters. Thankfully, we were close to the sea cave, and we've been holed up here since. Aye, the behemoth. We ran afoul of it as well. It took our ship down as we were trying to make landfall. We barely survived, no thanks to the locals. Behemoth indeed. What a strange fate that we should both be survivors of something so deadly. In our case, we made as good an escape as can be had against such a horror. The maiden is fast, but more so, our captain, Iago Zadroma, is the finest captain to sail these waters, be their sails black or white. Is that so? And where is this much vaunted captain of yours now? That is where I was hoping you might be of assistance. While we await repairs, our cargo is rotting in our holds. The captain decided to venture into Haran and seek out the Rat Queen and her black market in a bid to offload what he could. I advised him against it, as the Queen is cruel and fickle. A black market, you say? As you may have surmised, our operation is less than sanctioned by the Empire. We must ply our trade in the shadows, and we deal with those we can, I suppose. In any case, you no doubt know as well as I what has befallen this island. Haran is overrun by madmen, and I fear that the captain was still inside its walls when the city fell. In any case, we have not seen him for days, and I fear the worst. A slight hint of desperation creeps into her voice. And what, your men aren't up to the task of looking for him? So it now falls to me? Indeed, if you can make it inside the walls, you would be doing a favor to the finest captain in the Outer Isles if you could venture to rescue him. Surely that must be worth something. You know what, it actually is. Because goodness knows we'd certainly love to secure a means off this rock. Once our business here is done, we'll see what we can do. Zarah looks relieved. That is all I ask. I would begin the search at the Rat Queen's court. I've never seen it myself, but I hear it lies deep in the sewers under the city. Just be careful and trust no one, least of all the Rat Queen. Zarah spits in contempt. Well, you know, if she's even marginally better than the Rat King we encountered on the way here, I'll consider that a step up. I had some questions. Do you mind? Yes? Is there anything else you can tell us about where we might find your missing mariner? As I said, he made his way towards the black markets that lie under Haran. All I know is that they can be entered via the sewers that lie under the city. Though the black market is no doubt a nest of vipers, I fear the biggest problem for now is finding a way into the city itself. Perhaps allying yourself with the survivors in the refugee camp is a wise course of action? Ever so slightly ahead of you there. And what of the man himself? What can you tell me about him? Feel free to be candid. I promise I won't parrot it back to him. He is the finest sea captain from here to the sea gates. If you've not heard of him, it's because he prefers it so. Such is the nature of our vocation. That'd be smuggling, right? Aye. As I said, our cargo is often less than legal. There is trouble brewing in the Frameark and plenty of people looking to acquire goods outside the Imperial trade network. We carry it and people like the Rat Queen sell it. Fair enough. As a mercenary, I don't really have much room to judge. So, how long before this bucket of yours is seaworthy again? The maiden took quite a beating, and we'll be here for quite some time yet. And in any case, we're not leaving until we learn Iago's fate. That being said, monster or no monster, we're not staying a moment more than we need on this accursed island. There's something wrong here. I feel it in my bones. And you're confident that you can outrun the beast again? Like I said, it would be nice to know I've got a way back off this rock once all is said and done. If there's one captain and one ship that could, it's Iago at the helm of the Maiden. We may need to be cautious and stay close to shore, but I'm willing to roll those dice. The blind has her hand over us. Fair enough. Well, I guess I'd best get to it then. Be careful out there. And you as well. Things are actually starting to look up here. We've got our potential exit partially secured. Though obviously we need to track down this captain before we can say anything for certain. It might not get us back off the island entirely, but it does sound like this is how we'll progress to the other isles. Especially given that she specified staying close to shore. Long term though, who knows? This is actually where I stopped back in early access, so from here on out, we venture into the unknown. Uncharted waters ahead. Who knows what they might hold? That said, I feel like we've got a little time left. Let's go ahead and clear some coast. Put this new axe to use. You're being charged by spider crabs. Well, you know, not quite what I was hoping for, but we'll axe these guys real quick, then push on, see if we can maybe trigger one more. Ideally, we'd like to see something new, but, you know, we'll take what we can get. One out. We'll leave that one for Iben. And this should top us off. Wow, yeah, that is a very useful move. Feeling pretty good about that one. And to think it'll only get better once we also bank the Inspire component. Some nice synergy with Spellburn, too. Since we know we can just top back off after. Which in turn potentially saves the attunement potions for Iben and Drina. Yeah, these guys do feel slightly more durable than I recall, but they're still going down pretty easy. Nothing to worry about here. And we're good. 3 arrows back. That's not terrible. I mean, obviously, we're still burning them faster than we're retrieving them, but that definitely helps pad it out. We were still rocking 79, so we're only down a net 6 total. On we go. Oh, boo. I was hoping for something new, or perhaps more Reavers for potential gear drops, but again, we'll take what we can get. I suppose we are running pretty long here. We should probably wrap up soon. Actually coming down with a bit of holiday crud. Hopefully it's not too noticeable. I've got that persistent, scratchy tickle right in the back of my throat. Not enough to, actually hinder talking. But it's like an ever-present reminder not to push it. Lest you reach that vocal breaking point, Or, of course, it could just be that it's too cold. We're down into the 20s this week. As a former Florida man, my respiratory system has yet to fully adapt. Actually saw snow for the first time the other day. Not a lot, but still. It did drive the cats batty. They're also not really sure what to make of their winter coats. Not something I think that ever really happened down in Florida. Some of them, Ellie in particular, are looking noticeably fluffier than usual. And she really seems at kind of a loss as to what to do about it. Though she is noticeably more persistent in trying to get me to brush her as of late. Which I'm always happy to do. She's a cutie. It's also been nice in that the dipping temperature makes them a bit less territorial. They're more eager to share each other's body heat. So they cease their catty bickering, at least whenever it dips below 30 or so. Fahrenheit for my non-US listeners. I think that's exactly 0 Celsius. One sec, let me just get these guys cleared out real quick. New X is doing okay. Obviously not a dramatic step up, but a very marginal incremental improvement. I think the big thing is just going to be banking those last couple of big axe feats. The injuries on crit and fear on kill. Though, I mean, really, all of our characters could benefit from some nice weapon and feat upgrades. Iben could use a proper composite. Drina could use a proper magic mace. Roland's still rocking a mundane great weapon, I think. And then even Freya, you know, she doesn't use conventional weaponry much, but we do have that spell aptitude helmet to shoot for. The Tyrant's Helm. And we're good. Hey, level up for Drina. You know what? I'm not really sure what we're doing with this one. Could shoot for Shield Rush. That would be useful. Could go for Shake the Earth. Could go for Aura Increase. Not in a rush to learn new spells. And since we haven't really found much in the way of new armor, there's no reason to really bank much there either. Not just yet. So really, either Grandmaster or Shield Rush. And I think we'll go... You know what? We'll go Shield Rush. That is a valuable tactical tool. And I think that brings us to a pretty good place to call it. Yeah, we're right near Jacob's hidey hole, so this is as good a place to end as any, since I can check that out off screen, and if it turns out there is anything worth seeing there, we'll pick up with that next time. But aside from that, we filled out our party, we gained some level up, some incremental improvements, we got 2 major new quests, paved our way to Harin, filled out this little sub-region to the west, and perhaps most notably, we have officially outpaced where I reached in early access. So from here on out, we're just flying by the seat of our pants and praying to the eldritch entities that they don't tear. That said, we'll hit the pause button for now. We'll take care of the usual off-screen bookkeeping, check out that goat pen over yonder, and we'll pick up here next time as we see what else the Outer Isles have to offer. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Eerie V23, Revenant, Alois, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.